What is up, my friends? This is Robster from MMR Handhelds. Hope you're doing well and stuff. This is actually the same channel as Media and Reviews, just to get this over and done, just so you know, so you're not too confused. Same channel, pretty much same content, except I'm going to do a lot of the content on handhelds. So if I'm doing a AAA game like Indiana Jones, I'll be playing it on the Lego or something like that, and I'll let you know in the comments, I'll let you know in the description, I'll let you know probably even in the video, it'll say played on the Legion Go. So you can kind of see how games run on these handhelds. And also, if you're interested, let me know in the comments. I can do a comparison, for example, Indiana Jones on the Legion Go, the ROG Ally Z1 Extreme, etc. Whatever handhelds I can get my hands on, I will do a comparison if that's what you want to see. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you're interested in. That would be super cool. So today I want to talk about the Miyoo Flip, and there's two reasons I was super excited about it. One being the Miyoo Mini, and let me explain. No, let me sum up. There's too much. The Miyoo Mini was a handheld I actually didn't really want, or wasn't interested in, I should say. I never met a handheld I didn't like. But this particular handheld had a small screen. I wasn't interested in a small screen. I don't really care that much for D-pad-centric handhelds, and it doesn't have an analog stick. Obviously, it's got a D-pad, but someone has sent it my way, and I have absolutely loved it ever since. So the quality, the screen looked great. It's only 480, but for the size of the screen and how clear it was, IPS screen, it just looked fantastic. Really, really like the handheld. And I'm a huge, huge clamshell fan. I love these kind of handhelds where you can just close them up, they go to sleep, all that good stuff. So when I found out that Miyoo, who made this super, super cool Mini and Mini Plus, was coming out with a flip with two analog sticks, I was over the moon, excited. So I'm a simple man, I suppose, but really, really excited and super happy I got a hold of one. And this is actually the unboxing. Like, I already did unbox this, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, we'll just say I had to redo said video for reasons. And here we are. But I do want to go over this really quick. Maybe show you a little bit of gameplay. That'll come later also in another video. I'll show you what this thing can actually do. What I can tell you right now is it does play up through Dreamcast. I don't know if it plays all the Dreamcast, but it does play Crazy Taxi and all these other ones. They're actually on here. Now, one of the things I do want to recommend before I really get into this, if you get one of these handhelds, generally look at the memory card. Like, this one actually came with a SanDisk Ultra, 64 gig memory card, so it's actually name brand. If it's not name brand, I would switch it out. I've had a few of my handhelds just die on me, and I had to get a new memory card and download the firmware. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So if you do get one of these and it has one of those black micro SD cards that just says like 64 128, get rid of it. Toss it out. Say see you later. Don't want to talk to you. You suck. Because they will eventually probably, most likely, crash and burn on you. So there you go. That's enough waffling. Let's get to the Miyoo Flip unboxing. So here you go. Now, before we get going, I know you guys are like, come on, just open the stupid box. I know. Really quick, though, this has a CPU Cortex A55 1.8 gigahertz, a 3.5 inch IPS 640 by 480 screen, 1 gig of RAM, which is plenty for Dreamcast and below for sure, and it's also a Linux-based system. Now, I will say I don't care for the OS that much on these. I even updated it, and I'm not super impressed with it at this point. I will let you know if I change my mind when I do some other follow-up videos. But, I mean, it's good enough, I suppose, but... Anyway, the battery is a 3,000 milliamp battery, and it has a vibration motor, which I bet your handheld doesn't have a vibration motor. So if you want true vibration technology, buy a Miyoo Flip. It's got that. So there you go. But let's go and get to the actual unboxing. 5 minutes in. Here we go. Pow! One of the things I do love about Miyoo and their handhelds so far, again, I've only had a couple of them, so I'm like an expert right now, but is that they come with these cases. Like this came with my Mini, and this one came with this case. Now it is a clamshell. You don't really need it, but I think it's a cool little extra anyway. And it just says Miyoo on here. So there you go. And it's got a little controller, kind of a zipper tag, I guess that's what you call them. So pretty cool there. You open it up, and you have this stuff. This is stuff. This is your instructions in case you get confused. There you go. And a really, really crappy screen protector. I wouldn't put this on there. It's flimsy, it's garbage, but hey, it's free, so I'm not going to complain too much. This is where the 64 gig memory card was housed. I did put it in the actual unit because I had all the games and stuff. So there you go. And then I think one of the really coolest things is a micro SD card reader for your PC, and this lights up pretty cool. When your PC is reading it, it'll let you know. It'll light up white. And there you go. So some cool little extras. I think it also came with a pretty decent USB-A to USB-C charging cable. So there you go. All right, so here's the unit itself. Let's move this case over, though I like the case. I don't need it in my way right now. And it is obviously covered like this. The light's not going to be on. That's because I actually charged this thing. And it comes, mine came about a fourth charged. But obviously I had to turn it on. It didn't come actually on. So there you go. Oh, when you do that, go back to the menu. And we'll just go back. There we go. So this is your menu. Not really anything all that exciting, but it does have all your games. Here's DC, Game Boy, Arcade, or sorry, Lynx. Sorry, not Linux. It is Linux, but FB Neo, Game Boy Color, MAME, Plus, MD, all kinds of stuff. So all the way through, obviously Dreamcast has got N64, Nintendo DS, which I think would be kind of weird to play on here, but there you go. PSP. I don't know if you're going to be pushing, well, yeah, I don't think I'll be pushing really hardcore PSP games. And you have Crash of the Titans on here. You've got Dual Pool, Dracula, Dragon Ball Z, God of War Change of Olympus. Yeah, I think that's going to be really, really pushing it, but who knows? Maybe it'll actually work. Let's try it. One of the things, oh, it's got scratches already. That sucks. Okay, one of the things I do kind of want to mention, well, it's got 30 frames per second on the actual, on the menu of the game, but I'm not sure which, yeah, it kind of sucks. PSP games this will play. Okay, well, it's not warbly. That's pretty cool. You can tell the sound's actually not bad, but it's coming from this one speaker. So it's not bad. Let's see. There he is, Kratos. So it's not really letting me go forward on this. I can't seem to. It's probably the game itself, I'd imagine. Yeah. Here we go. Alright. There's some bad guys to murder and stuff. Oh, it's running God of War really well, actually, which is really, really impressive, especially for a tiny handheld like this. I am color me impressed. Now, you're not going to get like 3, 4, 5 times resolution like you will on something like the Powerhouse AYN handhelds, or any of those. The beefy, the ones that are $300-400. But the fact that you can run this on this little handheld, I think, is pretty darn cool, and it's not stuttering that I can see. Yeah, it's running pretty darn good. Alright, so there you go. That's some gameplay on here. Again, I will go over more gameplay and what this can and cannot do. You're going to be playing apparently some pretty decent PSP games. I will play Resistance on this later, which actually really kind of chugs on handhelds that are pushing PSP. But you can do PSP games, Dreamcast games, PS1, and anything else below that. Of course, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, all are going to be great and look great on this. The 480p screen, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's also IPS, and 480p on a screen like this is fine. It looks great. So yeah, so my first impressions are pretty good. I do like the D-pad a lot. The analog sticks feel pretty good. They're kind of like Vita analog sticks. At least that's what it reminds me of. They are clicky. They will click in. The buttons feel great. They're a little bit flush, but they still feel really good to push, which is huge. And then as you can see, the L1, L2, R2, R1, and all that jazz. Just these square little buttons, but they feel fine when you're playing. This is a solid handheld. I wouldn't, call it handheld of the year, but I think for under $100, it's a cool little handheld. Now this is USB-C, but it's not the charging, which I thought it was. I think that's just for extra storage or extra whatever. Anything you can plug into a USB-C, that'll work. Your HDMI. So if you want to play this on a TV, although I don't know, I don't think you're going to be pushing things in 1080p with this little handheld, but who knows. And then a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack on the bottom. And then right here this is actually where you charge it. You charge it on the bottom. So this is for accessories. This is for charging. So there you go, which is kind of odd. I thought it would be the other way around. And of course, your micro SD card slot right here. And then you have another one on this side if you want extra storage. And then your power button. Now this one is your micro SD card and your OS, so you can have some games on here, but again, if you just want to add games, you can just put them in here. Now one of the things I do want to say about this, I do really like this handheld. I have enjoyed my time with it so far, but again, I don't care for the OS, so as soon as a different OS comes out, I will let you know in the comments. I'll let you know maybe in a different video, but I would put a different OS on this. I've heard Miyoo works on this, and that would be a good OS to do. This is simple, but it works really well. This one, the biggest issue that I had is, number one, a lot of the games are Chinese, so I'm actually going to change those out for my own ROMs, and I'll let you know how that goes. And also, RetroArch is not very good on this. So if you want to use the online updater, update your assets, cheats, cores, whatever you want to update, it doesn't work. I constantly get errors, and yes, I've already hooked this up to the internet. It does have built-in Wi-Fi, so you can do that right away. But that's about it. I do really like this handheld. I think it's very cool. One of the things I do want to tell you, and it's very important that you know, the battery may explode in the fire. It says right there, so make sure you do not put this in the fire. Otherwise, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for watching this video. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. Please, if you like this kind of content, do subscribe, do like. I'd appreciate it. And I will see you in the very next video. Peace out.